And so how is shutting down our plants so that select groups that can stay open make bigger profits, how does that help the Earth when we're one planet and the jet stream takes the Chinese toxic jet stream and brings it right back over the United States, and actually the jet stream comes in right over Texas, that particular band of the jet stream, and dumps it in. Then the environmentalist groups run around getting samples saying, look, the lead level's up, and then lawsuits have come out and proven it's from China and India. It's not our power plant. See, they say, oh, the air is picking up lead and mercury. You bet it is. That's in that dirty coal. And then there's a whole nother level and another level. 1996, Clinton took hundreds of thousands of acres of southern Utah land, badlands, off of mining, the only clean burning coal deposits of any large size in the Americas, in this entire hemisphere. From Alaska down to Chile, the only area they had it. Now, it turned out he was involved with a company and was lobbied by a globalist China-based company that had the only other big deposit. What happened to their stocks? Overnight doubled. Profits were incredible. Then they mandate clean-burning coal, but now you've got to ship it from China. This is how the scams operate. Now, we've got that information. Now, what does Der Spiegel say? Because I know how to go to a search engine and go to all the major ports on the major seas, like San Francisco and others, and pull up the water level over the last 100-plus years. Some of them go back 300 years in Europe. San Francisco, it's over 150. We've done this on air and showed it to you. The water level, the sea level, has dropped. Remember they said all those islands in the Pacific were going to be underwater, and it's actually dropped? And they've been caught in several cases where there'd be like a little island with a few trees on it where they wanted to take a shot years later. They would have amphibious dredges and bulldozers knock it down and kill the trees just to say, look, the island is submerged. I mean, these people are hardcore. Well, what is Der Spiegel saying? Der Spiegel, the big German publication, global warming now causes sea levels to drop through weather shifts. That's right. Al Gore said we'd all be dead. We'd all be dead if we lived on the coast because it was all going to rise and kill us by, 2 years ago? And now they're saying, oh, it's dropping because of global warming. Oh, and how about those ice caps? Haven't melted yet. They're getting bigger. All right, we'll give you the key intel straight ahead. Okay, I've been pontificating about the government shipping drugs in and guns out of the country and other issues, and haven't scratched the surface of other news. Coming up, Libyan rebels round up blacks, put them in giant concentration camps, prisonplanet.com, and we have links to Associated Press, you name it. And they're saying, hey, this is pretty reasonable. And they're just taking women, children, men, mowing them down, powers off in most of the country, total bedlam, Al-Qaeda jihadis running around slaughtering people. And I saw comments in my article going, Jones, how dare you, defend black Africans and be politically correct? These are illegal immigrants, to Africa. The blacks were in Libya first before the Arabs colonized it. And I'm not getting into Arab versus black either. We're all human beings. And I know some of the blacks were fighting on Gaddafi's side. The point is, they said they launched the war because Gaddafi might have shot some protesters, who we now know were Western-backed al-Qaeda rebels with tanks and grenade launchers blowing up police stations. It was all a lie. If they would have said, hey, we're going to foment a rebellion and take over Libya, I would have still said, hey, let's stay out of it. Let's, if you break it, you own it. I don't like Gaddafi, but let's stay out of it. Why? So some oil companies can take over? No, thank you. But I wouldn't have been as upset as just the whole lie. Oh, Gaddafi shot some people. Turned out that was a lie. Gaddafi's doing some really mean stuff. These are just peaceful protesters. Turned out they were blowing stuff up, murdering people, lynching blacks 6 months ago. Basically, a black person better not show their face in the east of Libya. It's kind of like their own Arab hillbilly or something. Or like, Louisiana in the 20s. It's not don't show yourself at night. Don't show yourself, period. And then I get these comments about, there you are defending the African takeover again. Some of these comments on the article Watson wrote at InfoWars have got to be a joke. In fact, later, Jaron, I think I IM'd you that comment. You probably have it, but I was going to read it. Just the sheer craziness of it. Oh, it's in the guest folder? Oh, here. Well, I haven't even gotten to the top story yet. Let me find it. Oh, here it is. Deport these Southern Africans to whence they came. The whole place is Northern Africa, pal. If no one will accept them, sterilize them. It's sad that InfoWars takes the side of dictators that imports racial aliens and uses them as mercenaries against the indigenous Libyans. Indigenous Libyans. InfoWars editorial staff are such hypocrites. Now they side with importing foreigners to use against population. There's a bunch of these. And then I get weird comments from people saying they're black people. I think some of these are PR firms. In fact, that's come back out in the news that Monsanto's got PR firms attacking people posing as commenters by the thousands. The federal government does. The Pentagon does. And I'll see, like, a month ago I was saying they're killing blacks that are in Libya. And it's like, shut up, you whitey. You know good and well that blacks have a right to be in Libya. Africa is black. It's like you can't even discuss issues without all sides attacking just because they hear a name. It's like when I read scientific reports. We've got a big report tonight on the nightly news where the government knows that bisphenol A and other plastic additives are flipping the sex of men in their endocrine controllers of the brain and actually causing hermaphrodites to explode. If it doesn't change the actual sexual organs, it changes the area of the brain. And then I get national news stories saying I'm bashing gay people. Listen, if a frog is turned from male to female, it's not about bashing a gay frog. You know, if I talk about the Pentagon's plan to have a, quote, gay bomb, chemical they were going to spray on Iraqis, and it's in the London Guardian, it's about the plan to do this so we don't reproduce. I'm not getting into the issue of gay or not gay. Don't forget the InfoWars Nightly News tonight, 7 o'clock. We won't be here Monday. There'll be an archive there. But we'll be back Tuesday, obviously. I am going to take Monday off because if I'm going to start doing the radio show every day and the TV show every day, I've got to occasionally take off. But after the break, after we take some more calls, I'm going to get into the top story today that I haven't even covered yet. And I should have gotten to this. It's the economic news. More and more they're admitting we're going into a depression. And even Goldman Sachs secretly believes that an economic collapse is coming. We're going to break down that Goldman Sachs report coming up in the next segment after some calls. But right now, let's go ahead and talk to Bill in Kentucky. Bill, you're on the air.
Hey, Alex. First, I'd like to say thank you for being the tip of the spear in the fight for truth and liberty. I really appreciate it for all that you do. Hey, really quick, I just wanted to throw a deal out for all your listeners. It's time that the people that know about this stuff really start to get involved with city politics. We've got to be running for city councilmen. We need to take our cities back. Even after November 6, 2012, when Ron Paul wins, because we're going to put him in the White House, our fight's not going to be over. This UN agenda, the globalization that's taken place in our cities is insane. Here in Lexington, Kentucky, they charge us a tax because we have roofs and driveways. Then they, in turn, take that money and give it away for art, for inspiring art on environmental issues. And this all goes back to UN Agenda 21.
No, they fund the propaganda to push their agenda, and they just raise taxes, and it has nothing to do with the earth. And that's the UN model. They said because they can't get Congress to do it, they're going to do it at the county, city, and state level. And Austin's one of the worst. They're just robbing us every which way they can and just giggling and snickering at us and saying it's for the earth when it has nothing to do with the environment. But more and more, we're winning. And you're right. Saying Ron Paul can win, pointing out that he's number 1, number 2, or number 3 in all the polls, and that their statement that he can't win is a hoax. We've got to parrot the truth. He can win. He can win. He will win. And also attacking Rick Perry, because normally I don't even get involved in presidential elections, because it's puppet A, puppet B, lesser of two evils isn't real. This one is all in. We've got a real candidate. We have got to annihilate Mitt Romney politically and annihilate Rick Perry, and it shouldn't be hard. Obamacare author Romney, Mr. Carbon Tax Romney, Mr. Globalist Romney, that Ken Doll's bad news. And then you go to Perry. I mean, Hillary lover, Hillary healthcare takeover in the mid-90s takeover artist. Al Gore's chief in Texas. It's just it's like Ron Paul started laughing 2 days ago, and he said, "How could anyone vote for Rick Perry? What's wrong with these people?" I mean, if moron conservatives vote for Rick Perry, they get what they deserve. You people are idiots. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, we need to beat them on their top-down, bottom-up approach. Once again, and people need to look in your own cities. The city of Lexington spends over $325,000 a year. I got documentation on this to fund a private 501(c) organization to go into the local schools here and educate kids on environmental issues.
Yeah, it should all be shut down. Take over the school board and spend that $300,000 either by cutting it for taxpayers or to teach the Constitution in class. Don't teach them how to love Al Gore, and then the schools have Al Gore books and show Al Gore movies, and then he makes all the money off that, and they got Rothschild books about polar bears can't swim. Absolutely. You got to go in there and stop letting them take your tax money to then go brainwash your child with a bunch of fraud.
Now, what's going on?
I appreciate your call. Good to hear from you, Bill. Now that the sea levels are dropping and that the ice caps are getting bigger, they're saying global warming causes ice caps to get bigger. It causes more polar bears, and it causes dropping sea levels. Yes, pay Al Gore money.